saying hello to all you beautiful people out there. We welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living, North Metro. I'm Reverend Michael Torphy.
I'm Reverend Valerie Torphy.
And this is Greg Fawson and our special musical talent, Susan Clark. We welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living, and we're going to kick things off with an evocation. So if you would close your eyes and move into that space within yourself where the infinite spirit dwells. And as I recognize that power and presence, I know that there is only one perfect expression of life. That life is everywhere present, but bound by nothing, restricted by nothing. It fulfills itself through each and every one of us. So this day, I give thanks for blessing all those who have tuned in to be part of this wonderful service, this service of celebration. I know everything unfolds in its glory. I know that each and every person listening and watching receives exactly what they came to receive. And for this, I'm eternally grateful. Grateful for our spiritual center, grateful for life, grateful for those that participate, Greg and Sheila and Susan, and all those who are part of this beautiful place we call the Center for Spiritual Living North Metro, here in Thornton, Colorado. So very blessed, all of us. I give thanks for this day and for all the joy that's in it. And with an open heart, I release, I let go, and I allow it to be. Simply saying, and so it is.
So it is. I'm going to go backstage. I'll let you guys go.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And we're going to get started with a song from Susan Clark. Susan, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Coming to you from beautiful Sandia Park, New Mexico this morning. I'm going to do a song by Ricky Byers. A lot of you know this, and I want you to sing along. It's called Use Me. It's a waltz, if you'd like to dance. And there's a part for clapping. I won't be able to clap because I'm playing my guitar, but I think you know the song well enough you can join in at that point. A little introduction for you. Here we go. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I can do. Comes the verse. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine our light as me, as you so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I can do. Would have a command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. God needs us to shine our light as we, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I want me to do. Show me all that I can do. Use me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That just brought back such beautiful memories. I spent 10 years of my life at Agape doing all my training, ministerial practitioner training, and that song was sung every single day, every single Sunday. So thank you. I
You're
appreciate
very
it.
welcome. Wonderful memories. Thanks.
Yes, wonderful. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, me.
Yes, yes.
Announcements. I was just busy watching. So if you haven't done it already, like us and check in on Facebook at CSL North Metro. And if you haven't done it already, and you could do it often because I change things out there all the time, check out our website at cslnorthmetro.org and go to the Contact Us to add yourself to the email list. And we have a place that's for prayer requests, and we'll pray for your prayer request all week. So ask for prayer. We'd love to do it.
That works.
Prayer does work. And I put the affirmations and the
Prep treatment.
out on the website too. So it's available for each of you for all week. And we have a Science of Mind magazine discussion group on Zoom on the first and third Fridays at 1 p.m. So you're invited to that. And on the fourth Friday, we have a spiritual moving in discussion on Zoom. And so you're invited to that too. So if you'd like some more information about that, just check out the website or give us an email and we'd be happy to get you connected.
Fourth Friday's this week.
It is this week.
All right.
So today's title is Use Me, and our guest artist you've already met is Susan Clark. And today's reading is from God Spoke to Me by Ellen Caddy. And I think we're ready for affirmations.
Eileen Caddy.
Eileen Caddy, what did I say?
Ellen.
Oh,
That's okay.
okay.
She forgives you.
Okay. Greg and Sheila are going to read the affirmations.
All right, affirmations for the week of August 23rd, 2020. I notice every reminder of God's presence in all life. I express my innate blessings and gifts to the world. My divine essence seeks its sacred place in the world. Powerful and creative ideas pour forth in all that I do. This world exists for an expansion of my soul. Vibrant energy of love and grace pulsates through me always. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you so much. And today's reading. There is a time for everything when you allow me to guide you. Not a moment is lost or wasted. All flows smoothly. Never feel overburdened or weighted down. Time is nothing. Work steadily ahead with peace in your heart and mind. Time is wasted when you become fussed and uncertain of the action to be taken. When at peace, everything falls into place perfectly. Know that your whole attitude can change in the twinkling of an eye. One instant you are completely off the beam, going your own way, thoroughly unguided, and the next, completely different and your life dedicated to me. So change, become attuned to me, and let me use you fully. This very thought brings deep joy and thankfulness. Live fully in this instant of time, my love and light, doing my will. Keep attuned to me 24 hours a day. In an instant, be right back on the beam. There need be no time wasted over remorse, resentment, or frustration. The art of quick change is vitally important at this time when everything is speeded up. When you are cross and irritable, there is no need to go around like that, not even for 2 minutes. Instantly you can stop, look within, and become in perfect attunement with me. Accept this truth over and over again during the day until all is light and there are no dark patches left. Yes, it can be done, my child. So rejoice, rejoice.
Rejoice. Wow. That was a powerful reading. Well, we're ready for the beloved Susan Clark coming back to the screen. There she is.
Yay.
You got another song for us, Susan?
I do. Thank you, Rev Valerie, for that reminder. Wonderful reading. I'm going to do a song I wrote called Come and Fill Me. And I wrote this when I was kind of searching for what it was Spirit wanted me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Open, empty, come and fill me with your dreams. Open, empty, come and fill me with your peace. I don't have any plans. I am waiting here for your command. I won't run away. Come and fill me any way you can. Come and fill me today. Yeah. Able, willing, come and fill me with your grace. Able, willing, ready to see your face. I don't have any doubt that your power lifts me up. Steadfast, I won't sway. I will do anything you say. Come and fill me today. If I get busy and you can't find me, pull me to my knees. If I'm not listening, raise your voice until it can be heard above the sea. Empty, come and fill me with your love. Come and fill me with your grace. I am ready to be lifted to a higher place. Empty, come and fill me.
Wow.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't even know if I want to say anything now,
I
want to hear what you have to say.
but I will.
Well, but tell people how they can hear more of your music and get a hold of you and buy your CDs or however you do music these days. So let us know.
Oh, well, yeah, I have a Facebook page, a music page. You can find me there, Susan Clark Music. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And I have a lot of time on my hands these days, so you can even just give me a call, and I'll share that information with you later.
Oh, good. Greg's sharing it now. So, yay. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Susan.
That was gorgeous. That was amazing.
Yeah.
It really was. I could just feel that. I could feel it.
So we'll be back to you after Valerie and I have a few words to say.
Okay.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye. Well, we were getting ready to do our talk, and we both thought, well, first of all, the titles always come through me, and this one came through me, and it was Use Me, and I thought, wow, that's great. I sang that song so many times I can't even keep track, and we were both with the title, and we were like, this seemed like it was supposed to be easy, but it was holding back on us, wasn't it? And Valerie asked me a question about God's will, and we got into discussion, and I started thinking back to where I first entered Agape, and literally the energy was so amazing that I can't even describe it. It just was like nothing I'd ever experienced before in my life. And then the service started, and the presence of God, I had never felt it in any other place as strong as that. Maybe when I went to Sedona on my sabbaticals, I used to go to Sedona once a year for 9 years. But I was so moved that something in me opened up. It was like the gates of God opened up, and I knew something was going to change in my life. I didn't know what it was, but I was clear about that. When we say use me, we're inviting the will of God to move into our life. We're allowing the will of God to guide us and direct us. And for the gates of God to open, in my experience, we have to take that journey down the path of surrender, because we have to surrender our will to God's will. We don't have to, excuse me, we don't have to. We get to. I got to. And sometimes there are many, many gates as we move along on our spiritual journey. We take care of business and another gate opens, and we're always giving more of ourselves to the presence of God. And sometimes the gate barely opens to just barely squeeze through it, but that's okay, because the whole idea is to enter. What I know is that God will provide everything we need whenever we need it. That if you surrender yourself to God's will, then you will be given what you need when you need it, on time, in time, in God's time. And it'll always take you to the height of your essence, of your spiritual essence. So Valerie and I talked about what is God's will, and for myself, this is the way I describe God's will. First of all, with my will, it's usually I'm forcing things. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to force things to happen. This happened a lot when I was seeking an acting career. And when looking back, I was always forcing, trying to make things happen, trying to get jobs, trying to do this, trying to do that. And it was always efforting. And then I stepped into this thing called Centers for Spiritual Living, and something started pulling me forward. And it's obvious what I was being pulled forward, because here I am, a minister after all these years. But I didn't know that was going to happen. The gates of God opened up, and there I was. Next, my will is usually from my ego. Most of the time it's from my ego, and God's will is always from love. You can feel it. When I took the first class at in religious science, it was called Foundation, And that class was the beginning of opening many gates for me. But it was the first stepping through a gate. And I remember that it didn't take much effort, but I had to keep stepping forward. And one of the first steps was to get a book. Now, at the time, I was going through a horrible divorce. I was broke, and I found out when I went to the bookstore at Agape, Reverend Michael Beckwith's brother was the bookstore manager. And I walked in there and I said, how much is the Science of Mind book? And he told me the price, and I'm like, I can't afford to even buy the book. How am I going to afford to pay for the class? And he said, don't tell anybody I told you this, but there's a bookstore down on Melrose Avenue that has used books, and you should go down there and maybe you can get a book cheaper than a new one. So I went down there and I got this book, and it was for $8. I think the book was $32 at the time, Science of Mind book, and I got the Science of Mind book for $8. So I thought, oh, I got the book. Now I got to sign up for the class. And the class was, I don't know, $150, whatever. And I thought, I can't do that. So again, I went back to Michael's brother, Keely, and he said, you don't have to pay right away. You just pay as you go. You pay what you can, and it'll all work out. And I thought, this is just too easy. And then my journey began. God's will is like this gentle breath that whispers in your ear and says, listen, I have something for you. This is yours. Take it, move with it, be it. And when you say yes to that, things just open up, because God is so patient. God never tries to force you to do anything. God is always waiting for your permission for it to give something to you. You give your permission and God is there. God's will is my will. I used to be asking God for all kinds of things, but what I realized that I didn't need to ask for anything because everything was always provided. I didn't have to ask. Once I gave myself up to that sacred path of God unfolding as my life, everything just moved into sacred being. Because when I said yes to God's will, then I became a place where God could move and have action through me. So my action became God's action, and God's action was my action. And those actions were always given to me what I should be doing. And this is why it was so hard to take this title and do something with, because it's something that can't be explained. It's a experience that you have. And when you've taken that path of surrender, of letting God's will move you and direct you and maintain you and sustain you, then you can't guess what's going to happen next. You just let it unfold through you. Like I have told many people, there is no efforting with God. It's just ease and effortlessness. And the grace pulls you forward from step to step, and everything continues to reveal itself in such sacred ways. And the love of God is always present. It's sometimes not easy, or sometimes there's challenges to it, but when you're doing God's will, it doesn't affect you the same way as when you're doing your own will. It's just so powerful. So I remember this song that Susan played. We would sing every Sunday. It was the opening chant, and we would sing it every single Sunday. And I didn't realize it, but something in me, by singing that song so many times, was opening something that I had no idea that it was opening. It was opening that gate to God's will. And God's will was pulling me from what I wanted from my life to be a successful actor into something else. It was pulling me so gently because now when I sang that song, I didn't have in mind that I wanted to become a minister. I didn't have in mind that I was going to be hired at different spiritual centers. I just was singing the song, but singing that song every Sunday and sometimes a lot during the week because I was going through my challenges in life, and that song would just come to me, and I found myself singing it in my everyday life. And for me, it gave me my life because I was asking God to use me. And God used me in such a profound way. My first spiritual center was in Grand Junction, Colorado. And I thought it was about being a minister of a spiritual center, but actually it was about meeting this lovely woman.
Who knew?
Who knew? God knew. Give your life to God's will, because you won't be sorry. You'll be touched in so many ways that you won't believe it's happening. I don't know if I can say any more about that because it's so personal. Having this experience of asking God to use you and being used by God is so personal that I can't even really explain it. Maybe you can clear things up.
Wow. So as we were doing the reading, I got a little hung up on doing the will of God. That's like, because Ernest Holmes constantly talks about, it's about what we think about expands and what it feels a little like we're in control. So the first thing I did, and not God. And so then it's like, well, so what is God's will? So we had this big long conversation about what is God's will. And so I went to first the Science of Mind book. And so I picked out a few things after pages of pages. We looked up all the places that talked about the will of God. And here are a couple of things that Ernest Holmes said about it. He said, the will of God is always toward that which expresses life and happiness. The will of God is seeking expression through us. And the will of God never denies us anything.
Right.
And so then it's like, oh, so it's not like you have to be this and do that, because that didn't feel like what I'm learning in religious science. That felt more like what I learned that I didn't agree with before, when I felt like I needed to go to church, so I kept trying out a different one and a different one and a different one, and it's like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. And I even walked into that religious science church in Grand Junction before Reverend Michael arrived there, and I went for a little while. It's like, nah, that's not it. And then it was, I don't know, a couple years later maybe, and well, we met at a concert.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said he was a minister of that center, and I said, oh, I went there for a little while. And he said, well, you should try it again. It's different now. And so I thought, okay. And so I did, and it was. And so here I still am. But I can remember when I first went to service there, when you were there, not before. I sat in the front row, because I always sat in the front row when I went to college too, because then that way I had to pay attention. Because I was in high school, I didn't sit in the front row, and there were so many distractions. Anyway.
I was probably one of them. If I was in your
class. You probably
class.
were. You weren't, but there were little dollar bills and footballs getting tossed around, and there were notes, and there were rubber bands, and there were, anyway. So I'm sitting there in the front row, feeling like that talk was just for me. That it was just hitting my heart in a way I had never, ever been hit when I went to church. or to a spiritual center or to a spiritual community. And I just, every single week, I just cried and cried and cried and cried. It just was this, it was just this amazing opening that I had not experienced before. And so here's some more of what Ernest had to say. He says, thoughts are more than things. They're the cause of things. And those things have no independent existence. The work is done in the mind alone, and our entire equipment is thought. And knowledge is the power it utilizes. And this power, which is the will of God and the amazing intelligence that is the whole universe, this power is superior to the intellect in its creativeness. It's the spark which burns at the center of our soul, and it is caught from the living and eternal flame of spirit. And the law governs the action. And so, let's think about this in science of mind terms. Like, what does that exactly mean to me? It means I hear that still small voice too, and it's like kind of a suggestion, kind of like when you said you should try it again. It's like, oh yeah, I probably should, and not like, oh, maybe I will someday. Yeah. But or when I was still in banking and I knew it was time for me to leave, but it had taken me a really long time to get to be a vice president in the corner office with the mahogany desk, and I wasn't feeling fulfilled there, and I didn't feel like what I did mattered very much. It's like, okay, so it's a bank and we do what banks do, but how am I affecting the world, and how am I changing people's lives? So I was doing a lot of changing. And it is so interesting how the journey comes. Because the first thing was on a board of directors, and the person that I worked with most of the time on that board suggested that I read the one by Yogananda. Well, anyway, that one.
That book.
And so then he suggested that they have classes, and so I took those classes for a while, and then somebody gave me Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain, and in the meantime I became a vegetarian, and I started meditating and visualizing and doing all of those things. And then the next book that was given to me was one by Deepak Chopra. And so it's just kind of like this little nudge, little nudge, little nudge, little nudge. And then at some point I found the spiritual center, and then I got a little nudge to attend the classes. And I can remember sitting in the secretary's office, and you were there, and the board president was there, and they're like, you should take foundations class. And I'm like, okay, what is it? And I had the same experience. It's like, well, I'm not making very much right now. And they're like, oh, you could just pay as you go. And so when I went into the bookstore to buy the book, the bookstore manager said, are you sure you want the paperback? And I'm like, well, that's about what I can afford right now. So yeah. So as it turns out, I did end up buying the hardback, and then another one too, because I just wore that paperback like right out. And so I always have this intention of going back and making all the markings that I made in the paperback in the hardback too, but there's so many markings in the hardback now, I wouldn't know which ones are which, so it doesn't really matter. But so we talk about it being light, and it's light like it's shining. You're right, it's really hard to talk about. It's like it's light that is shining, but it's also light like weightless. Mm-hmm. And so when we're in that space of use me, when we're in that space of not efforting, allowing what it is that's mine to do to come, as opposed to willing it, as opposed to striving, as opposed to stressing, and definitely that was my life before in the bank. It was all about the head, all about, well, I was responsible to make sure that we were in compliance with all of the rules and regulations that the banking industry has. And so, it was really all about head stuff. And as I was growing into understanding that there was a really lot more to life than the head stuff, then I started being lighter and accomplishing more with a lot less effort, because that was definitely my will and efforting. And so part of the practice for me became being in the stillness. You can chime in anytime here too. It's being in the prayer, being in the meditation, being in the listening, and definitely in the now. Because if I'm planning, and I do that, a lot of that too. When I'm in that planning, I'm not in the now, and I'm not in the space of listening to what's mine to do next.
There's nothing wrong with planning. It's just getting attached to the plans that we get confused, because we got this plan and we think we have to make it work, and then you get into efforting. But if you have a plan, and it's most likely given to you through Spirit, then that plan is made to pull you towards a destiny. And there is no ultimate destiny, because you move from glory to greater glory. It's like, when I think of the term use me, I think, well, we can use God through our prayer, and it's a good thing, because sometimes when we get a plan or we're given something to do, to accomplish, then we want to back it up with prayer and know the truth that we are capable and we're strong and we're doing all of the right things for that plan. So we're using God in that sense, but moving it back to allowing God to use me, then I'm given the plan. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Just like that little seed that was planted while we were still in Fresno, that I was going to open a spiritual center, not necessarily in Thornton, but definitely in North Denver. And I had, well, to open a center, you have to do a lot of demographics and stuff like that too, and you have to have an action plan and all these things. And I had a little spot picked out right in the area where we are now, like way before we moved here. And then there were lots of things that came up, and things didn't go quite as quickly or quite as fast as I thought they might go. And it's okay, because we had to do the things we had to do to get settled here and live here and belong here and do all that before we started the spiritual community. And I never really let it go. It was always there. And then I think those of you who have been listening to us for a while know that we were sitting in Reverend Julie's church in Castle Rock the day that Spirit said, it's time. And so here we are. And it's like releasing resistance. It's like letting the love heal the things. And I was thinking about times when I really have been in the ego, and the ego didn't want to let a thing go. And a point where, this is in the beginning of things, I was just willing to be willing. And that was enough. I didn't even have to be willing in the beginning. I just had to be willing to be willing. And I don't know if that's something that speaks to you who are listening, because unfortunately we can't see anybody's faces and know if we're touching people or we're not. But it's like, just open a little bit, make a little space, and then the suggestions start coming, and the ideas start coming, and the thoughts start coming, and the movement starts coming.
So we're always at choice. We can choose to do things our way, and I've done that a lot in my life, or we can choose to allow God to do its way through us, and just giving ourselves completely to that divine energy, that divine intelligence that put us here so it could work through us. It needs our hands, like the song says. It needs our heart. It needs our mind. And if we give all that to God, then we'll be given what is ours to do. And sometimes it just means waiting, just waiting, doing your prayer work, doing your meditations, and just waiting, because God doesn't force us, so we shouldn't force God. It's an agreement that we make by saying, "Use me." Did you?
So while I just wanted to bring this book up again. This book was written by Eileen Caddy in the 60s. And it's just so interesting how the readings and things that we're finding are just so appropriate to now. And this book is, this was published from her journal of personal information that Spirit gave to her. And then she was convinced. They ended up starting a foundation, and she was convinced that it would be helpful to other people to be able to read the things that were revealed to her. So I just
She's Scottish, right?
She is Scottish.
Yeah.
She transitioned in 2006. This is called Let There Be Light. And I think we can all identify with it, just like right now, where we are right now. All around you can be chaos and confusion, but it need not touch you in any way, because I am there in the very center of your being. And you're even more consciously aware of me as the chaos grows worse. I have warned you that the chaos will get worse before it gets better. All that is dark must be cleared away before it can be light. Darkness cannot be cleared until it has been revealed, brought to the surface, and seen for what it is. In the light, it has no power and will eventually die away into nothingness. Be grateful that it is coming to the surface. When I tell you that all is well, believe with all of your heart that it is so, no matter how it may appear on the surface. Look deep within the situation and see good and only good coming forth. The power of Spirit is greater than any other power. Therefore, let the power of Spirit work within you, like yeast in a lump of dough. Let it help you to rise quickly and silently above all that would disturb you and distress you. Peace, be still. My peace and love enfold you and infill you. And so part of that is about releasing judgment, about releasing blame, about releasing all of those things, and really, as religious scientists, concentrating on what we're creating, concentrate on where we're going, concentrate on what we value, concentrate on the world that we're creating, and understand that everything we're going through right now, whether it's fires, which a lot of the planets are going through, or the hurricanes, or the super hot weather, or things that are going on politically, or chaos, all of it. Just be that place where Spirit indwells us. Be that place where we know that all is well and that we are being guided into being that change that we want to see.
So think about it. Before you ask God to use me, think about it. Do you really want to give your life entirely to God? Do you really want to have the experience of God in every situation that you find yourself in every aspect of your life? Then say, use me. because those two words are the most powerful words you'll ever utter in your entire life. Use me, oh God. I'm here for you. And see where it takes you. Mm-hmm. Because it's adventurous. Mm-hmm. It's like going on a divine adventure. Who knew I'd end up here? Who knew I'd ever leave Agape? I thought when I went to Agape that I'd never leave it because it was the happiest place on earth. And it was feeding me and I didn't need anything else. But God had bigger plans for me because I said, use me. And indeed, it did. So here we are.
Here we are.
And there you are. And we thank you for joining us this day. And we send out blessings, knowing that as you ask for God to use you, the most amazing things in your life will take place. More than you can ever explain. Better than what we've explained here today, but you'll have your own personal story to know what we're talking about.
Right. Ready to pray?
Yes. Are you praying?
I'll start.
Oh.
So I just invite you to take a deep breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Understanding that God is that breath. God is breathing your breath, beating your heart, thinking your thoughts. God is everything, everywhere, all of the time. And right where I am, God is. And right where Reverend Michael is, and right where Susan is, and Greg and Sheila, and all of the people that are watching us and joining us today, and everyone who might watch it later. And everyone everywhere is one with the one with each other, and one with all there is. There is no separation. We are one with the divine, one with the light, one with the love, one with the peace, one with the joy. And as we allow that divine spirit, those divine ideas, that divine light to come into our being and light us up and guide us forward, we're just filled with love and joy and peace and abundance and prosperity. And we are guided to do more than we even knew we could do. And it's all God. And I'm so grateful. And I pass this word to Reverend Michael.
And so as we receive that light from without, we take the light from within and send it across the planet.
Yes, yes, yes.
We send the light to California,
yes,
where so many fires are burning. And we surround all the firefighters and all the people who have homes there with light and love, and know the perfection and the beauty of who and what they are. We surround them with safety, with energy that they need to do what they need to do to put out the fires. And the same thing for right here in Colorado, yes, with all the fires that are burning. We surround all those that are involved with light and love. And that light and love spreads across the planet and out into the universe. We are powerful. We are God's children. And in so doing, our word has power.
Yes.
And so I rejoice in this day, all the good that is in it. I rejoice for having this thing called the Center for Spiritual Living, North Metro, mm-hmm, and all its members, and all those who are still on their way to become members of our center. I rejoice in all the musicians who have graced us with their talent and their love, especially today with Susan. I give thanks for all this and so much more. I bless all those who have asked us for prayer, yes, all those who we are serving, yes, and all those who I think about, I see, I talk to. Our blessings are infinite.
Yes.
And I ask you to join in with us as we send them out to touch all the hearts that are waiting for our touch. And so I give thanks for this day, for our center, for our lives. But more than words can say, I'm grateful to know that these words we have spoken are now complete and manifesting in our experiences. And so I let go. I let God. I release the word into the power of love and law and simply let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
Ashe and amen.
Mm-hmm.
And woohoo.
Yes.
Yes. Susan?
Yes. We're inviting Susan to come back and join us. There she is.
There she is. Yay.
Hey, Susan.
You have both put me into a blissful state.
I know it'll be returned through your music.
Yes, it will.
So enjoy having both of you give the message and share your thoughts together. It's very powerful. I picked out a song that was written by Margaret Owen, and this is called Have Your Way. Talk about spiritual serendipity. I just want to read a couple lines before I sing.
Okay.
We surrender to your power. We surrender to your whisper.
Mm. Oh, wow. That is serendipity.
I hope you enjoy it. And do look up Margaret Owen. I'm sure she's on Facebook and all over the place. Beautiful song she's written. Open hearts and open hands. Open up our minds to you. We are longing. We are searching. Guide us in the way of truth. We are listening. We are listening. Have your way. Have your way. Holy Spirit, come and have your way. Have your way. Have your way. Holy Spirit, come and have your way. Open hearts and open hands. We open up our minds to you. We are listening. We are longing. Guide us in the way of truth. We are listening. We are listening. So have your way. Have your way. Holy Spirit, come and have your way. Have your way. Have your way. Holy Spirit, come and have your way. We surrender to your power. We surrender to your whisper. We are listening. We are listening. We are listening. Are you listening? So have your way. Have your way. Holy Spirit, come and have your way. Have your way. Have your way. Holy Spirit, come and have your way. We surrender to your power. We surrender to your whisper. are listening, have your way. We are listening to every word you have to say. I leave myself open to your guidance each and every day. So have your way, have your way. Holy Spirit, come and have your way.
Wow, thank you so much. That was so beautiful.
I have to reiterate, when we bring musicians into the service, I just give them the title. I don't tell them what we're talking about. We don't do any of that. I just say, let your intuition, let yourself be guided and sing the songs that come up for you. And it always is perfect, always. And it's the way we run our ministry. What we talked about is the way we run our ministry. We thank you for being part of it today, Susan. You're so talented.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure. Thanks so much. It's so nice to sit here and sing and look out my window. I live in the forest. I'm kind of in a tree house, so
Wow.
I can see the breeze and the trees, and it's very nice. Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
We're so grateful you're here.
yeah. So we're going to make a couple announcements, and then we'll right back to you for the last song.
Okay, so this is our conscious giving time, and this is our this is our basket that we're putting the donations in that come in through Venmo. And you've just the easiest way, if you're on Venmo, you can do CSL Venmo at CSL North Metro, or you can also text "you give" to YUGIVE to 888-364-GIVE, and you can, on the website, there are a couple different ways to give. If you use PayPal, or if you don't use PayPal, or if you want to use your checking account, or if you want to use your credit card, there's all different choices. So these are all of the donations that are coming in that are supporting the things that we're doing here. And we're so, so, so grateful to those of you who are supporting us and allowing us to continue to do what we're doing. And hopefully it's meaningful to you to be part of us too. So will you bless it?
Yes. So just repeat after me as we bless these gifts. We give thanks for this opportunity to give.
We give thanks for this opportunity to give.
So very grateful for the abundant flow in our lives.
So very grateful for the abundant flow in our lives.
So very grateful for the good that these gifts do.
So very grateful for the good that these gifts do.
We send them out into the world.
We send them out into the world.
To bless many people.
To bless many people.
To bless our planet.
To bless our planet.
Knowing that it comes back multiplied.
Knowing that it comes back multiplied.
For this and so much more.
For this and so much more.
We are grateful.
We are grateful.
And so it is.
And so it is. Yay.
You got one other thing you got to say?
Nope. It's Susan.
Okay. Susan.
All right. Take us out of here with the song I wrote called Stand As You Are Able. I wrote this song. I was a guest vocalist at a friend's church. It was a Methodist church, and they had a bulletin, and they had a lot of prompts. Stand up, sit down, pray, do this, do that. And there was a little asterisk, and it said, stand as you are able. And I turned to my friend, and I said, that's a song. Stand as you are able. Rise when you are called. There is rest for the faithful. Rewards for us all. If someone is fallen along the way, pick them up and let them ride till they can't stand as they are able. We're all traveling to the other side. If you see somebody walking with their face in a frown, take the time to ask them why their head's bowed down. If you hear somebody crying in the middle of the night, throw your arms around them and tell them everything will be all right. They'll just stand as they are. are able. We're all traveling to the other side. Don't look back. Don't feel sad. Life is full of choices. Some you make are good and some you make are bad. Still you must stand as you are able. We're all traveling to the other side. No need to carry such a heavy load. Once you put your feet upon a higher road, there are jewels scattered upon the ground. Pick them up and put them in your golden crown. For you must stand as you are able. We're all traveling to the other side. Stand as you are able. Rise when you are called. There is rest for the faithful. Rewards for us all. If someone is fallen along the way, pick them up and let them ride till they can't stand as they are able. We're all traveling to the other, traveling to the other, traveling to the other side. 2, 3, 4. We're all traveling to the other side. We're all traveling to the other side. Get on board. Oh, get your ticket punched. 'Cause we're all traveling to the other side.
Wait a minute. That's a good way to
So
end it.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So, we're inviting you to the Zoom meeting right after the service because that's where we share our ahas and have our discussion and get to see each other's faces. The Zoom link is on the comments. So if you're, look on the side of the screen on your comments and the link is there. And if you sign up on our website to the email list, we'll give you the links in the email as well. But so we're looking forward to seeing you right after this.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll do a benediction and we'll
Sounds
end
like a plan.
with a prayer. So once again, turn within as we give thanks for this amazing day, for the service that was given to us to celebrate the life of God and our life within that. I send out blessings to all those that participated this day and all those that will tune in later, knowing that your life is so magnificent and so needed in everything that's going on our planet. I bless you. I bless those that are suffering, those that are in pain, those that are in lack and limitation, those that may be battling something. I surround each and every one of those individuals with light and love as we surround California and Colorado and Texas and Louisiana from the hurricanes. Just sending out light and love, knowing everybody is safe and all is well. For this, I give thanks and I simply let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
See you next Sunday.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
We'll on Zoom and we'll have a conversation.
Yes. Bye.
See you all. Thanks for the service.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you,
And Sheila
Susan.
and Susan and everybody who's listening.